convening the Board of Trustees of the Lake Tahoe Unified School District into regular open session at 6 o'clock. And we are now going to report on any we have the opportunity to report on any actions from closed session. We don't have any items to report this evening. And so our next item is item number 7, which is communication reports. And these reports are limited to 5 minutes. First, I'll ask for reports from any of the board members.
I'll go. It's been an incredibly busy week. Last week was State of the District, and I was able to sit at a table with three Mount Talac students, and just getting their opinions and their thoughts was it was fun and informative. And then I got to see the man who came to dinner on Sunday at the high school. The set and the costumes, it's still open again this weekend. Get your tickets. And Monday was the El Dorado County Office of Education Award Dinner. And not only was I proud of our own award recipients, but it was really kind of enlightening to hear what other what all around El Dorado County, what other organizations and people are doing to make our county better and to make the kids in the county, their lives better. Last night, joint meeting with Lake Tahoe Community College and our board, and once again heard from students, heard a lot about the high school collaboration, dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment. One thing that really stood out for me that the Superintendent's Advisory Council kids, Scott being one of them, are so articulate and so impressive in their passion, their ideas, their solutions. It was that was fun. And then today, I got to go up to the high school and again saw just some amazing teachers and amazing kids went into a bunch of different math rooms. And I knew that I needed more education on all areas. Anyway, it's been a busy week, but a great one.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you, President Kemper. I'd like to just reiterate what President Trustee Mansfield said. We attended several of really dynamic learning meetings this past week, and a big shout out to the high school. That man who came to dinner, the set, if y'all haven't gone yet, it was terrific. Got to see TAP perform at Bijou on Monday. All the students were just memorized, and it was just a really exciting to see them so engaged with that. And then lastly, I was able to visit Bijou today and learn all about the different programs, and it was just a very positive, loving environment, and I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Camacho.
Today I have the opportunity to go to 2 performances of the TAP offerings for the backhouse dancers. Different setup for both of them, much more interactive with the elementary group out at Myers Elementary than it was at the middle school today. Really, really exciting to see the kids totally into this modern dance. I was very pleased to see how receptive they were to this terrific performance. So that's it for me today.
Thank you.
Like everyone else, busy week, wonderful stuff going on between the LTSD and the community college, State of the District, good turnout, and then just very excited for this bond work to get going. So thank you, community, for supporting us and investing in the school district.
Excellent. Well said, everyone. And so I'm going to move on to the student board member report. Scott Yamaoka.
Hello, everybody. It's been an exciting and eventful few weeks for our school community. Prom is building up. Tickets are now on sale. And we also had the Blacklight dance earlier this month. And although there may not have been as many students as we would have liked to see there, it was still a really fun night. We're also kicking off elections at the high school, including the election for the incoming student board member. So this is an important time to get involved and make your voice heard as we look ahead toward the future. Spring sports are also in full swing, including track, baseball, softball, swim, and boys golf. Track in particular, they've already had some huge milestones. A big congratulations to some of our athletes, Leslie Polito, Brody DeFranco, and Evan Haberadas for their amazing performances. In the world of theater, as everybody has said already, The Man Who Came to Dinner, it's a great play. I do recommend going to see it if you haven't already. This weekend is the closing weekend, and as a lot of the actors you see up on stage, they're all seniors. So again, I encourage you to go see the show. And of course, midterms are just quick around the corner there. So let's stay focused and finish strong. A little deeper, some of the things that we're continuing to work on at the high school level is strengthening our school community. Again, attendance remains a top priority, and trying to figure out how to use the LCAP data at school sites to target and improve certain areas, as well as bringing more light to what it means to have WASC accreditation and a lot of the processes that are going on there and that we're implementing at the high school. Most importantly, we are working very hard on making sure that everybody here in our community and at our schools feels truly included, and not more than just being present. It's feeling seen, valued, and human. So there's still a lot of stuff to do with that, but we're committed to building a more connected and supportive community. Thank you, everybody. That's my report.
Thank you, Scott. Excellent report. Really appreciate the efforts you've been making on that front of having people feel more included, all of our students especially, and staff. All right, now we have our superintendent report, and
Thank
our
you.
superintendent is not here, but we have Dr. Alan Reeder, our associate super.
Thank you, President Kemper. Hey, thank you, Scott. And you always share such impressive information. I have to remind myself that I'm listening to an 18-year-old young man, 17, 18-year-old young man, and you're just very impressive. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
I think that's all right. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay. If you change your mind, we'd love to hear. All right. Yeah, he has some very, very good news. Hey, so just as President Kemper shared, Dr. Cutler is currently at a training in the Bay Area with our Cal-Ed partners. Very exciting work that we're doing to align our math instruction and curriculum with the new California math framework. And so you're going to hear a little bit more about that from our friends from Sierra House tonight. But we're just real excited that we have all of our schools engaged in this very important work, and we have a very valued partner. But it is a requirement that the superintendents attend these trainings, and Dr. Cutler speaks very highly of these trainings. Secondly, I just want to thank everybody for being here. I know we got a packed house, and this is really exciting because when Kelly does her report, there's probably not going to be anybody here. You guys are going to enjoy this moment and take off. But
You
we're
can
really
stick
happy to have
around.
you all here. We did have both our high school friends and Myers Elementary scheduled for March 13th, our last board meeting. If you remember, that was a snow day. We were able to make it for the board meeting, but we did have to cancel. We didn't want to cancel. We wanted to cancel because we wanted to make sure all of our children were safe. So we appreciate all of you being here, and I apologize for the packed house, but it's important stuff. We're really excited to hear from our Tahoe Valley friends, our Myers friends, our South Tahoe High School athletes, and then a little bit later from our Sierra House friends on their
Single focus.
on the good work they're doing with their single focus. Just real quickly, a shout out to Ms. Dillman, our coordinator of special education. They have been quite short-staffed. We're working with Alpine County to find a SELPA director. They just offered an opportunity for an amazing special education specialist. We looked at the board today. We've gone from 12 aid openings to 7 aid openings. So if anybody out there is interested, we would love to talk to you. We always need help, and we just greatly appreciate Ms. Dillman's leadership and the good work that she's been doing. I will cut it off right there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reeder. And you're welcome to stay for the entire meeting because everything we do is important and we want to feel valued as trustees. No, but we are really glad to have all the support tonight. The next item is the Employee Association reports. I saw Jody Dayberry in the room, and do you have a report? All right, thank you.
Good evening. Is this on? We're good. Good evening, board and community partners, parents, and students. My name is Jody Dayberry. I'm the president of South Tahoe Educators Association. And on behalf of the association, I do want to bring a couple of issues just to your attention. While the community college and the school district work in partnership and have their annual meeting and discussions, last night was revolved around concurrent enrollment. We also have dual enrollment with the high school. I respectfully request going forward, all conversations include the association, as there are several issues, both contractually, and I believe the input of educators, the people actually teaching, should be included in any conversations. Secondly, I also want to bring the board's attention to school safety issues. PA has a desire for deeper conversations to be held, including conversations with all stakeholders, administration, staff, both certificated and classified, students, parents, and other public health and safety agencies. We're kind of in uncharted territories. Concerning safety, mental health issues, and some different circumstances have come up, and feel it's paramount to get some people together, get people in the room, and have a much deeper conversation. All students, all staff should feel safe, no matter where they are in the district. So I look forward to getting that going with you. And I also want to recognize all the work that is being done. We're kind of at the point of the year, 2/3 through, a lot still to do. And just recognize so many things that is happening at our schools, and the really good things. Too often, some of that goes unnoticed, and there are great things happening in our schools. And I appreciate the support from the board. I appreciate the support from our administration, but I do want to be able to address issues that have to do with further engagement for our students. As the young gentleman, Scott, brought up, coming from an equity lens, we have more work to do there. And certainly looking at the challenges that many of our families are facing right now in the community, housing, economics, job loss. There's a lot of things that are happening that we don't always like to hear about, but it's very real. And I would like the board to consider finding ways to further support our students by offering after-school programs with transportation. So often we have people that have great things that they want to do, but at some of our school sites, lack of transportation is very prohibitive. And I think it is incumbent on all of you as a board to find ways that all students can participate in after-school programs. And it should not be dependent on whether a parent can leave work to pick them up or have a vehicle even to drive to pick them up. And I think that is something that should be a priority of the board going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. And do we have Bernadette Santana? Someone from?
Don't see Bernadette.
All right. I don't think so. All right. Our next item is public comment. So this is an opportunity for anyone who wants to speak on something that is not on the agenda tonight. Do we have any requests?
No.
No. Okay. None. Then we're going to move on.
We have not received any.
And we're moving on to student celebrations, which Myers Elementary is the first one up. And Principal Damerall is here to kick us off.
Good evening, President Kemper, Board of Trustees. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight. Full disclosure, I did tell them that nobody ever comes to school board meetings because they're boring. But I guess I was wrong. Trustee Anderson, thank you for coming to Myers today. We enjoyed having you. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the kids because that's why you're here. Who's going first?
This is our Myers Elementary 5th grade Kindness Club slideshow. Hope you enjoy. So every month we have character traits that represent different ways that we can show ourselves, like kindness and empathy. And every month, students get a chance to win an award for showing that they have that trait. Every morning, a Kindness Club member goes with Mr. Damerall into his office and on the intercom says a quote reflecting the character trait. And the quotes are chosen by Maddie. Every morning, the Kindness Club member that did the quote also says the Pledge of Allegiance and stands there with Mr. Damerall and makes sure that he gets all of the announcements done.
Make sure I do.
Yeah. And morning greeters. For some of the Myers Elementary parents out there, you may have seen us outside waving to your children as you drop them off. We're just there to say hi and to help people out. So for our Kindness Week activities, we have many fun activities for little kids to have like better manners, be kind, and not like grow up being meaner. And including this thing called Monday Madness. We do this thing every month on Monday where we send members of the Kindness Club down to the lower grade lunch and give high fives and maybe stickers to kids who are being good and not like messing around with their food, eating their food kindly, and like being kind to other students, and also doing a lot of things just to help them. And also, for Valentine's Day, we have a week every year called Kindness Week where we make like a bunch of decorations and little hearts dedicated to students to make them feel really special about themselves.
All right. So I'm Blee the Awesome, known as Maddie, and I do Peaceful Playground along with a bunch of other students. And the goal of this is to create a very peaceful playground so kids can feel safe and special during the time that we're down there. And it works by like sending the 5th grade members of the Kindness Club down to the younger grades, like 2nd kindergarten and 1st, to go play with them and like work on the behavior of the children there and like make sure that they're acting responsibly. And it also like helps them solve problems that could happen on the playground and like also like make memories with us and gives the chance for like the 5th graders to act in a caring way and act responsible with these children. And then the next one is assembly helpers. This one's a very important one because during assemblies, we help teachers out during stuff by sitting next to grades or like doing the drawings for students that like get picked to get little gifts. And then we also help out by like keeping the kids quiet and in good behavior, and also by like creating school spirit and getting kids engaged and excited to see us. And it really is fun for us and the little kids as well.
My name is Owen, and this is at each assembly that we do for our Kindness Club Trace Rewards. We do a chant that kind of like sets a good example or something. Oh, this is a repeat after us chant, and this is for the board members too.
Mike's
Act
on.
responsibly.
We act responsibly.
We practice
Safety.
We practice safety.
We work together.
We work together.
We show
Respect.
We show respect. Thank you.
And thank you, adults and board members, for your time. Thank you so much for letting us present.
Mhm. Thank you.
So they do so much more. They help me. They're out with the kids. They're in there at lunch helping them. They're in there at the assembly. Trustee Anderson saw them today, sitting with students, sitting all around, students that are maybe messing around a little bit or having more fun than they should be. They let them know. Sometimes they let me know. And they're all fifth graders, and our fifth grade teachers, Ms. Thorne is back here somewhere, have been really supportive of this. And our counselor, Miss T, is their mentor, and she is absolutely amazing. So this Kindness Club really helps with our single focus of building relationships, because these kids are building relationships with the younger kids every day, and those younger kids really look up to them and are excited to have them there. Thank you.
Thank you. Picture, quick picture. Okay, we want a quick picture.
Wait, before you go,
Mass on. Kindness Club. We'll take a quick.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a picture.
Thank you, guys.
All right, excellent. I love seeing the leadership in those fifth graders, and hope they continue to lead when they're at the middle school next year. Next, we have the Tahoe Valley Elementary School student celebration, and I know Miss Little's got, and Principal Arnett. I saw Miss Little setting up for the performance. Come on up. They're out in the hallway.
Mara.
Thank you, Principal Arnett.
All right. Yeah.
Look at the picture.
Good sized group. Because
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, so all right.
Hi. President Kemper, members of the board, families, community members, good evening. I am Pat Harnett, principal at Tahoe Valley Elementary School, and I am proud to be here this evening to share a celebration of part of what our students are achieving through active and engaging learning. This year, we celebrate the performance of our 10th musical, and it's called Seussical Kids. Tahoe Valley is grateful for the support we have received in the past from Lake Tahoe Educational Fund, the El Dorado Community Fund, and the continued support from the Tahoe Arts Project. Due to changes in grant funding, Tahoe Valley Performing Arts is exploring alternative funding sources to continue the after-school musical program serving students 1st through 5th grade yearly. The community is invited to attend the inaugural Preview Night Gala performance on Tuesday, April 1st. A limited number of tickets are still available for this fun-filled evening. This season, 68 student performers are enjoying an application of reading, speaking, listening, and creative movement in a public forum. Students have been meeting with our talented staff after school to perfect their parts and are ready for their performance. So much joy and happiness is shared during this experience. I invite you to join us for the gala or the other community performances next week. And now please enjoy Tahoe Valley students performing Green Eggs and Ham.
Board members, please turn off your microphones.
Yep, right there.
Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming, Tahoe Valley kids, Seussical kids. Thank you.
Pat, please turn the mic back on.
That
if
was
you turned
very
it off.
fun. Exactly. Next, we're queuing up the high school winter activities. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Can stick around for more fun.
Look good. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming.
They were amazing, huh? Sounded awesome. Professionals.
Thank you.
Your name, though.
Math teacher at the high school. Check it.
Right? All right, Dr. Reader. Oh, you're rearranging the microphone. All right, we have the high school winter activities. Principal Zunino. Everybody can spread out now and take a whole room.
You're here for the high school, right?
Yeah. Oh, she's here for high school. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, President Zunino. Good
Hey, good evening,
evening.
trustees. It's a great night tonight. I might suggest double doors over here for. I'll tell you, a lot going on. Great to celebrate tonight. To be a part of it. Appreciate very much having the opportunity. Tonight, have some scholar athletes like to present tonight that have had some outstanding achievements over the winter season. And I have Coach Hennessy that will introduce our coaches, and then from there, athletes. So again, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Again, thank you for having us. Winter sports we had a great year, a great season. I know some of the board members came to our basketball games, and you saw bands and cheer and dance, and we had a lot of success with basketball, hosting back-to-back home games for the first time for playoffs. That was quite an event. Not successful, but steps were going forward. Our Nordic team did really well. And then some of our other teams were exceptional. So I am so proud to introduce a couple of teams, 3 teams tonight, or actually 4. We're going to start with our alpine ski team. I'm going to introduce Coach Jones. We had a lot of success up on the mountain this year, especially with the lack of snow we got during the season, but they found ways to become successful. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jones.
Thanks to the board and the community for having us and recognizing a couple of our student athletes here tonight. We actually rostered about 30 student athletes this year, so it's a little disappointing. We only have 2, but these 2 guys were crucial in what you see here in front of you tonight. So we've got Max Fish and Jace Villanueva. And these 2 in particular worked really, really hard. Jace was super eager this year, and we had a great coaching staff this year. I'm not the only coach, but he was super eager and really made great strides throughout the season. And he wasn't the only one. So we were kind of consistently finishing between 3rd and 5th out of 8 teams. And then at states, they really just kind of peaked and came home with 2nd place in giant slalom for the boys. And these 2 both played a huge role in that. And I'm gonna have to pull out the piece of paper because Max stood on 4 podiums that day. Yeah. So Max got 3rd in GS, 2nd in slalom, and then 3rd in the combined of the 2. And then his 4th podium was as the team for the boys. And Jace earned an all-state. I think he was 6th. So after the 4th, you're not on the podium, but he was 6th for states. And mostly it was because of all his consistent finishes throughout the season. So it was a really great season, and we have a young team. We actually have a lot of girls. Max was a freshman this year, so we've got him for 3 more years, which is awesome. So I've got high hopes for the team moving forward. So thanks for that.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Our next team we're going to recognize is our cheer team. And let me just tell you how amazing they've done this year. But we've grown that team to, we had so many young ladies. We added a JV team this year. So we added almost another 25 girls to that team. So, you know, we have almost 50 girls in the winter in our cheer program, which was phenomenal. Last summer, for the first time in a long time, they went to a cheer camp. They're going to be going again this year. So it's really becoming something that we're empowering them, and the girls are really just taking off with it. There's girls now are thinking about they want to cheer in college. So it's really becoming something special. So I'm going to introduce, their coach couldn't make it tonight, Izzy Preston, but I'm going to introduce Gabriella Lancelotti, their captain. Come on, Gabby. And Izzy Gunta and Maddie Gunta. And then the rest of you cheer girls, come on up. Gabby's going to say something just real quick.
Hi. Yes, we had an amazing season and we worked so hard to get first place at our first big, or not our first competition, but we got our first big win at our competition. And we're so excited for what's ahead. And we want to give a huge thanks to our incredible coach, Izzy, our athletic director, Hennessy, and everyone else who supported us to make this all possible.
That is one big trophy.
In this competition, they were beating schools like Bishop McNogues, much bigger than us. Much bigger than us.
Congratulations.
As I said, when I started, we had a lot of success. Our boys and girls wrestling team, and let me tell you too, our girls wrestling team has just exploded in terms of girls interested in participating. That number went almost tripled, I think, this year. So, I mean, things are really, kids are connecting. And I think that's, you know, as we always talk about the whole child, I mean, we're connecting those kids through athletics, and it's amazing to see. So I'm going to bring up Coach Whitehouse. He's going to talk a little bit about the boys and the girls. And then the wrestlers, Gary, come on up.
Good morning or good afternoon, evening. I don't know what time it is. Just to kick it off real quick, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you guys have a packed agenda, but I'm here kind of in place. We kind of all rallied this year around our head coach being Ryan Wallace being down a little bit. And so it was really a great community of effort of coaches stepping up, administrators, and really the kids on the team really supporting everyone. And so we had a lot of success, and want to start off with our boys team with Charlie Berquist and Cash Hendricks, state champions at the Nevada state level. And really an incredible year by both of these young men. They both came in third last year, and right after that tournament, very hungry to capitalize on that success and get that championship. So, you know, with the lack of kind of year-round wrestling last year, these guys, you know, I think Cash went to North Dakota. I think he went to the East Coast, Ohio, to seek out competition. Charlie went all over California, going even training with Olympic gold medalist Amit Allure, and really seeking out opportunities to better themselves, taking that responsibility and that leadership under their own hand, and hopefully leaving a legacy with that team, the boys team, next year for them to follow with that great success. So that's the boys, and Coach Robert Hook couldn't be here, but he sends his congratulations to both of those young men too. For the girls, I'm kind of a little partial with them because I spent a lot of time with them this year, and that was really my intent. And, for the state of Nevada, this is the second or third year that women's wrestling is a sanctioned sport. So we're a little bit behind some of the other states, but it's catching up quickly. And what these three women represent, Alice Lilly, DM Johnson, and Lily Verduzco, is they're really the first wave starting at the middle school. And they're juniors right now. They're all, state qualifiers last year, won matches, and they came back this year, and all three of them placed third in the state this year. So second in the region behind the number 25 team in the nation, Reed High School. And then we qualified the third largest team to the state tournament. And they came in sixth as a team. And one thing that's unique for girls wrestling is the single division. So we're going up against Slam, Centennial, a lot of the big schools. It's a single division in Vegas. So I really want to emphasize the team. Although we have three standout individual leaders, they really contribute to the growing women's wrestling movement, not just in the United States, but really in California, in Nevada, and really just growing at the youth level as well too. And these girls and these guys are all there at the middle school practices and our youth practices giving back too. So congratulations to all of them. And here they are.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. So, and real quick, kind of what Coach was talking about for the women, there's only one division. So when he was mentioning those schools, those are schools of 3,000 kids, 3,500, 4,000 kids out of Las Vegas that we're competing with. Reed, we all know how big that is. That's in our neighborhood. And we're just, a small school of 1050. And so for the girls to have that much success, a tribute to the coach and a tribute to the girls for how hard they work. And I can say, the other thing I wanted to say about the boys is I've looked, and I don't know when the last time we've had two state champions. Again, growing. We had more boys and more girls. And so I just, I'm excited because spring sports has started. I hope to be back here in May with lots more champions to present to you, because I can tell you that the program is growing, athletics across the board. We've got more kids in it than we've had last year, and we had a huge number. And it just things are on the up. I mean, it's really bright, and you can see all these great kids that are student athletes keeping their grades up and excited to be a part of the high school. So thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Principal Zunino and the South Tahoe High School. That was awesome. And now we're moving on to item 9, educational services. And we have the Sierra House is first up for presenting their single focus plan for this year.
Thank you, President Camper. Please welcome Principal Holmes and her team to provide us with a brief update on their single focus.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Reeder. Nice to see you in that seat. My name is Karen Holmes. I'm the principal of Sierra House Elementary School. And this evening we are here to present our progress on our single site focus. And is this on?
Yes.
Okay.
I turned it on. Sometimes it takes a second.
Hey, presenting with me tonight is the amazing team of first grade teacher and member of our Cal Ed partner team, Julie Molesworth, second grade teacher, Laurel Forehand, third grade teacher and member of our Cal Ed partner team, Jeff Henderson, third grade teacher, Allison Buis, fifth grade teacher Amy Turpinine, and our lead teacher and intervention specialist Paige Cephalou. And just a note, this is not just us doing this. The Sierra House team is all in. So we're just representing.
Our single focus began with the practice of posting our daily learning objective in math and making sure students and teachers are clear about the learning intention each day. According to John Hattie, the teacher clarity has a 0.75 correlation with improved student outcomes. A 0.4 correlation is equivalent to 1 year of student academic growth.
Hi, guys. So from there, we chose to focus our learning objectives on math. Little did we know when we started this process in 2021, just how involved we would get in learning about the latest math research and improving our instructional practices. We've uncovered innovative strategies, challenged our previous approaches, and deepened our understanding of how our students learn math effectively. This journey has not only transformed our teaching, but it's also strengthened our commitment to fostering a more engaging and effective math learning experience. Our single focus journey has taught us that every student comes to us with math knowledge, and we are learning to approach math from an asset-based perspective. This is truly fostering the unique talents and potential of each of our students. Math is now a favorite subject of all of our students and for our teachers. And I can tell you personally, I love teaching math now. It probably wasn't my favorite subject, but it definitely is now after this experience and doing this journey with our staff. As a result, we've noticed increased confidence, not only in our students, but I think in our teachers teaching the curriculum, deeper engagement, and a stronger sense of curiosity in math. Students now see themselves as capable mathematicians, and math is fun.
Our single focus plan started with establishing clear objectives aligned with California state math standards. We dedicated an entire year to unpacking the Marzano critical concepts, which organize the state standards into cohesive clusters. Over the past 4 years, we've deepened our understanding of these concepts, collaborating monthly to ensure they remain the cornerstone of our instruction. We also engage in regular conversations with other grade levels to ensure vertical alignment. In addition, we spent the last 4 years working alongside California Ed partners to enhance our understanding of research-based best practices that have been proven to help students become confident, capable mathematicians. This partnership has been invaluable to the success of our single focus approach, and we cannot overstate its significance. These 6 high leveraged math teaching practices developed by Dr. Megan Franke and her UCLA team have significantly shaped our approach to instruction. In the first year, we focused on the practices highlighted with yellow stars, encouraging students to discuss their mathematical ideas and use tools and representations that made sense to them. During the second year, we expanded our efforts around math conversations, providing students with more opportunities to share their thinking with one another. As a result, students began to appreciate the value of their ideas and grew in confidence as capable mathematicians. In the third year, our focus shifted to how we, as educators, can learn from reflecting on student work. This reflection helps us to make more informed decisions about our teaching. We also continue to refine our ability to ask follow-up questions that engage deeply with student thinking, further enriching both the student and teacher understanding of mathematics.
This slide is you can't see what it says, but it's a quick look at our yearly planning document that we outline at the beginning of the year then each month we add to it as we complete our objectives. It's a record of what we've done and what we plan to do. And we have a couple years of this added to our belt. So as we move forward, without our Pioneer collaboration, we have this document to work with, and all of the documents that we use during the year are linked into this one main document. This slide is an example of the type of document uploaded to our yearly planning file. Each collaboration session has its own sheet where we capture our thoughts, learning, questions, and discoveries. These documents are crafted monthly with specific outcomes in mind, and they're then added to our grade level math binders. Along with student work samples, these documents serve as both a reference for the future and an artifact reflecting our progress. All of this is designed to support our growth and develop our professional practices. And we have amazing binders if you ever want to peruse them. I don't know what else we.
So there's 3 key insights from a mathematical growth as a staff. The first one is we've learned to value all student thinking and reasoning, which has helped foster stronger relationships by appreciating each student's ideas. Second, our math instruction is not only promoting a positive math self-concept, but also engaging students in relevant and challenging tasks. In the picture on the right, students are tackling a story problem about how much money Mrs. Holmes needs to buy a new dog. I was part of that. I remember that. It was great. So through this problem, students are developing a deeper mathematical understanding by learning how to take the time to clarify their understanding of what the question is asking them to do. They're counting, they're sharing ideas, and they're exploring multiple problem-solving strategies. They work together collaboratively, and it's amazing to see. These critical thinking skills are benefiting our students across all subject areas, and you can see that in everything they do. It's pretty spectacular. Our next slide is, this is an amazing thing that we have developed, and it is so wonderful to use for us as teachers. We just go to it and we can use it right away. It is our LTUSD Elementary Math Google site. This is a living site that we are continually updating and improving. We invite you to explore the site and see all the amazing activities available all district-wide, and for our teachers to explore and use in their classrooms. Thank you.
This year, we put $3,000 of our single focus funds into white books for every classroom. Research shows that student engagement increases when they are up out of their seats and collaborating about a concept. We have found this to be true. This slide shows students collaborating around the white books and how teachers can move from group to group. Observe how students are approaching a task and ask questions. Teachers can include gallery walks, group presentations, and many other activities to let students take the lead in their learning together. One important rule for whitebooks is students do not erase their thinking. This helps them see that struggles can be productive and persistent payoffs. The action steps listed on these slides go into some detail about how we plan to continue to grow our math systems at Sierra House. These steps are strategic, and each step is important to the success of our single focus. I would like to highlight number 4. We have 2 days a month set aside for teacher collaboration, and this time is non-negotiable. Right now, these 2 days are the last Tuesday and Wednesday of the month, back-to-back meetings with laser focus on our math data, analyzing student work, and planning instruction based on what we see. Action step number 9 addresses our learning labs. We are committed to studying as grade level teams specific strategies that we would like to improve on or increase on in our classrooms. Through our learning labs, our knowledge has grown, but even more, we have learned to trust each other, take risks together, and grow as a team. The next 2 slides show examples of student performance on the iReady diagnostic assessment. This is comparing our school-wide iReady results from last winter to this winter. Here we're seeing a 6% decrease in students performing 2 or more grade levels below, and a 7% increase in students performing at or above grade level. That's 35 more students performing in the green compared to a year ago. Our school-wide results from September to January of this school year continue to show a consistent positive trend of students moving from below grade level to near grade level, and from near grade level to meeting and exceeding grade level benchmarks. We're also continuing to see positive trends in our CASP summative results. Over the last 3 years, our 3rd grade students have made consistent gains in math, where we have observed a 13.5 point increase in students meeting and exceeding standard. Dates got messed up on that.
Hi.
A data collection resource we used this year to support with support from our CalEd partners was our Learning from Children assessment and data. The Learning from Children looks at 6 California state math standards and what strategies students use to solve the problems. Each question was given 4 times, or will be given 4 times at the beginning of the year and at the end of each trimester. And here is some of the data. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see on my left there, it shows us, those dark ones shows us the students getting the answer correct. More students you can see are getting the answer correct each time the assessment is given. But whether or not they get the answer correct isn't the whole story. So if you look in the pretty colored bands, those show us the strategies. We also just record what strategies they're using. So at the very bottom, you can see that there's some red and pink. The red indicates that the child didn't make any attempt, didn't do anything. The pink said they tried something, but it didn't work very well, and it wasn't going to work. It was an invalid strategy. So you can see that from the beginning when we gave this test to now, many students have converted their invalid strategies into valid strategies that will eventually lead them to the right answer. Thank you. Our work at Sierra House is getting noticed, and we're really proud of that. We were featured in an article published by PACE through Stanford University. This article proposes that the Sierra House model serves as a blueprint for building adult capacity and fostering instructional coherence. The study highlights the roles of leadership, strategic resource use, and collaborative structures in improving math instruction and scaling practices. That article was picked up by Cal Matters, an online publication, and it featured Sierra House as one of 2 schools in California that's showing promise in improving student outcomes. Finally, this year Sierra House was recognized by the Educational Results Partnership for our CASP score data, making gains at closing the achievement gap in California. As we know, that's a big thing everybody wants to do, is close that gap. So we were one of 21% of eligible schools in California received this distinction. Thank you.
We didn't have much money to spend on our single focus this year, but we made great strides anyways. We spent $2,000 traveling to CalEd partner covenings and $3,000 on white books for all classrooms. Our monthly collaboration time is just putting contractual time to good use. Making math accessible and fun while improving student outcomes is priceless. With our single focus, we believe that we are making a difference every day. We understand the critical concepts and how to make them accessible to all students. Students are enjoying math and believe in their abilities. CalEd partnership is ending, but we are looking forward to joining the other LTUSD elementary schools in the EDCO collaboration next year.
All right, so we have a couple upcoming events for our that are related to math. On April 21st and 24th, we will be engaging in our spring learning labs. And if anyone is interested in the process, you are welcome. And then on April 24th, the same day, it's a very busy day, we have the EDCO superintendents coming to Sierra House to learn about our math programs and systems. It's an annual convening of superintendents, and they're gonna come check us out, which was a really big honor. And whoops, where am I? I don't know where I am. So we're just going to say thank you. This was an information item only. We love to have you come by anytime and visit us. And are there any questions?
Any questions from any of the board members? Mostly comments.
I have a question. I have a comment.
Okay.
What's that?
I'm just so proud of you guys.
We have an amazing team working together at this. It is.
I see them weekly.
CalEd Partners has been an unbelievable partner, and having them working with all of our elementary schools and our 8-9 collaboration is such a great thing to support. So just keep.
And the rest of the SH teachers, if you didn't know that Ed Monticello, our superintendent of El Dorado County, gave a huge shout out to you guys at the State of the District. So in front of all of our partners and other parents and students and stuff. So, and then he also did at the EDCO dinner too. So talked about you guys. So you are making your marks, and this whole district is proud of you.
Thanks.
Are we good? Did you have something, Bob? Or no, you're good. All right, she covered it. All right, well, we're so impressed and very
you for
excited.
having us.
Thank you. Right. Exactly. Standing ovation is appropriate. All right, next we have a review of our school year calendar.
Love the enthusiasm in the crowd. Thank you. You think the calendar would be a simple thing, but we actually spent a lot of time in our negotiations on this one. So President Kemper and trustees, before you this evening is the 2025-26 academic calendar. We wanted to bring this forward for your review and discussion. In the calendar, we put a couple things in place this year that we thought would be nice to get some input on. We embedded our snow days. We had snow day in January, May, and then at the end of the year, as well as a couple of key dates. If you could change the slide. This kind of highlights and brings your attention to some of the things that are on our academic calendar. We worked with the calendar committee and both union groups in April and May, and we brought it forward for board approval on May 23rd. The first day of school next year is August 25th. Our professional development day, it seems to go back and forth from October 31st to November 1st. And so we agreed that we would move it to that Friday. So the PD day moving forward, if all goes as planned, would be on the last Friday of the month, or the first Friday of the next month. Snow days planned in January, May, and June again. And then our graduation for South Tahoe High School is the week before we get out of school. So it's that Friday, June 12th. And last day of school is June 16th, could be 17th, could be 18th, depending snow days. But this is all in agreement to do everything we can to finish the school year prior to Juneteenth holiday. A couple years ago, we had the Juneteenth holiday a day before the last day of school. So it really threw off our attendance and kind of the flow of that last week. So we really want to wrap things up before that date. And that's all I have on the calendar, but it is for information and discussion for the board. Thank you.
And this is an information item, but we will approve, it'll come back as an action item at the.
It's already approved.
It's already approved for this next
Already
year.
approved.
Okay.
However, if the board has suggestions or would like to make changes, of course, we would take that to the committee and then bring it back forward for your approval.
All right. Any questions or input or interest, or I know that, yeah, I know John wants to move on. No, I appreciate all the work of the committee in trying to suss out this thing. And I think I was the one who wanted to kind of have the item mainly to hear if there was any interest from the community. And I've heard from some community, I know that January day that we had a day off because we hadn't had a snow day. You know, there were some parents frustrated with, you know, a random Monday that they didn't have childcare for, you know what I mean? I heard some of that, and talking with staff, you know, having that date in January is important. Having it, well, it's still part of the high school semester, because, you know, if we took all the snow days later in the year, it's like some teachers would, you know, the first semester you might miss 3 days, and then the second semester you might have 3 extra days to teach. It's sort of awkward that way. So trying to balance that.
Yeah, we worked really hard to provide a snow day in the high school's first term.
First term, right? So that's what that day is. Yeah. But there's definitely been talk about possibly pushing the other snow days out in later, you know, in May, just because there's such a long gap between spring break and the end of the school year. Like, would it be nice to have longer weekends in May possibly, or lumping them together, the remaining 2? I've heard that idea. But I think in general, it seems to be working. I will say that I did hear, even though it was not on the agenda last night for the joint college school district, there's still an interest in trying to align the spring breaks, which are now just a week apart. It seems like there may be an opportunity in a given year. It may not be next year, but just something to continue to look at. So if there's a way of lining that. So anyway, anybody else? Everybody else okay with what we're doing? Okay. Just wanted to share those thoughts, and sounds like we're okay. Then we won't schedule this for a future meeting for action because that calendar's in place, but the fall, like a year from now, we would have this conversation again and we would be talking about the following calendar. Or you try to
Our
do it 2
intention
years
will
at a time.
We'll bring the 26-27 calendar forward this year for your approval.
That's the one that would come for our approval, would be in the next month or so in May for the following year. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You still have me. So.
That's it. Moving on to item number 10. Thank you, John. Oh, you're standing there because you're going to talk about personal services, item 10A, Sunshine for STEA, and then 10B, Sunshine Lake Tahoe Unified School District.
All right. Yeah, happy to have Jody Dayberry join me for this. We're bringing forward before you this evening the South Tahoe Educators Association submission for sunshine items for the 2025-26 school year. STA submits the following sunshine items: Article 11, unit member hours; Article 14, transfers and reassignments; Article 15, unit member evaluation; Article 19, early retirement incentive program; Article 20, grade span adjustment; Article 24, teacher induction program, and the peer support coaching program. Along with this article, the association will review contract articles and MOUs that have become obsolete or need updating. Jody, do you want to speak to that at all?
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. STA looks forward to starting negotiations by April 22nd is our start date, and getting together with the district with the hope and belief that we always are working towards improvement, and in evaluating some of the articles and where there are ways that we may be able to make things better, both for our members, but also for the district as a whole. One thing specifically that we feel very strongly about is finding a way to support our newest members. As you may be aware, it is harder and harder to find, recruit, and retain teachers. And especially in certain subjects, special education being one of them. And so I have long been a proponent of growing our own, and with the hope someday we can actually work through some type of program, CTE or whatnot, to start up at the high school having students that may be interested in a career in education. So that's one thing that I think would just be a huge benefit for both the association and the districts, in a way to be able to also support our newer teachers that may not have finished or completed a program, a teacher education program, but we are having such difficulties finding people, especially in special education. So that is, to me, very exciting because it's long overdue. And the rest of the things there, look forward to working through with the district, and really want to thank the district. We have had some very, very productive negotiations and have had a really nice tone as we go into things. So I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, item number 10B.
Thank you, President Kemper. Before you this evening are also the Lake Tahoe Unified School District's submission for sunshine items. We're bringing forward for negotiation this year Article 12, absences and leaves, as well as Article 26, just the terms of the agreement. This is a 3-year agreement, and so we just need to update that, and that is all for the district.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Both item 10A and 10B, the sunshine items for South Tahoe Educator Association and for the Lake Tahoe Unified School District are action items. So we need a motion to adopt, and I think we can take one motion for both items 10A and 10B. Okay, let's separate them. Okay, 10A first. Let's do a motion for 10A for the South Tahoe Educator Associations.
I move that we adopt the Sunshine with South Tahoe Educators Association going forward.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I have a motion from Trustee Mansfield and a second from Trustee Anderson. Do I have any final questions or thoughts? I just want to take that. And I want to just make it clear that we're approving the list of topics for negotiation, not that there's been a resolution of any public comment on these items. No public comment has been received. All right, then I will take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that motion has passed. It's carried forward. Item 10B is the sunshine items from the Lake Tahoe Unified School District Administration. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations for the initial negotiations.
All right, second?
Second.
Okay, I have an motion by Trustee Camacho and a second by Trustee Heatherington. And do I have any comments or questions or any public comments? Seeing none. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you, Mr. Simmons. Item 11, facilities and transportation. This is an information item on the Myers Walk-in Cooler project. Mr. Zebo.
Good evening, President Kemper and members of the board. Our food service department has secured funding to purchase and install a walk-in freezer refrigerator combination for our Myers Elementary School. Due to space and limitations in this kitchen, we plan to construct an exterior enclosure attached to the rear of the kitchen to house this unit while still having access through the kitchen. To move forward, Studio W Architect has provided a proposal to develop and submit the required plans to the Division of the State Architect, DSA, for approval. Given the extended DSA review process, this item is being presented for information this evening with the hope that the board would support moving forward with action at the next meeting on April 24th. This timeline aims to facilitate project completion by the fall of next school year. We do appreciate the board's consideration with this, and I do have Tammy Miller here, our food services director. And between the two of us, we can answer any questions related to the needs for this walk-in cooler, the funding, or any other construction specific related questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I
said you said you secured funding for the project. Can you explain that?
That is correct. Tammy, would you like to?
Yes.
Okay.
Microphone.
We secured a grant from the state of California, the 2022, I believe, equipment grant. And so it's for a certain amount for the walk-in cooler. However, it'll be a bit more, but those funds will be paid out of Fund 13. So everything that, as far as the architect, everything will be paid out of Fund 13 because I have a spend down program with our funds. So nothing will be paid out of the district.
Thank you.
I would like, because of the length of time that DSA takes, I would like that it go on the consent agenda so we don't even, so it gets voted on and boom.
This evening?
No, we can't do it this
24th.
evening.
We can't do, we wish.
Because we've already adopted the agenda, but for next meeting, the April meeting.
April 24th.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other questions or comments? Well, I think that, yes, we're happy, basically, because there aren't any, I mean, Tammy, and maybe later, I know Kelly Martin could probably explain what Fund 13 is, but is that specific to the cafeteria funds? Yeah.
Sorry. We're separate from Fund 1. Anything that the district does is Fund 1. Food services is Fund 13. So we're totally separate. We earn our own money. We're self-supporting. We go out for grants. We actually have another grant for dishwashers to
Nice.
replace 3 dishwashers this next year.
No.
So we really try and go out there and get any funds that are available.
we can improve some of our sites. Myers has never had a walk-in, ever. And they have raised their lunch and breakfast numbers to the same equivalent as every other elementary school, whereas they used to serve a portion, maybe a third of what everybody did. So they deserve a walk-in. They need the space. They need to be able to provide this for the kids.
Yeah.
Can you take a follow-up, Tammy?
Sure.
I was out there this morning and Joel showed me where it's going.
Yeah.
And there's a trash compactor out there. He could not explain where that was going. He said, nobody tells me anything.
Yeah, we have a spot for that. It's going to go right around the corner, be right behind the NPR. If you know where the custodial office is, right there, kind of right behind that. I believe there's a container already in that, kind of in that same vicinity. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And good luck with the project. Yeah. And thank you, Tammy, for seeking those grant funds whenever you can. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So that will be an action item on April 24th, and consent is fine. All right, Ms. Martin. Next item, 12, business services and operations. We're doing budget development. We're going to have a presentation and discussion around possible reductions in the future.
Teresa, can you put up the presentation?
Oh,
It's fine. 15 years. At the last board meeting, staff presented the second interim budget in which we showed the multi-year projections for the next 2 fiscal years that included reductions. To give the board and the public a better understanding of how we develop multi-year budgets and weigh reduction options, I will review some basics of building a budget and multi-year projections, and then look at reduction possibilities. I think this just goes to sleep, Teresa. Oh, no, that was me. Okay, now it's happy again. Building a budget for a school district is an incredibly complex. So we start with the assumptions of both revenues and expenditures. In layman's terms, it's income and expenses. This slide shows our assumptions for revenues that include COLA, changes in average daily attendance, enrollment information, the average daily attendance, unduplicated pupil count, unduplicated pupil percentage, and lottery for both the unrestricted and restricted sides. Keep in mind that the unduplicated pupil percentage is what drives the supplemental and concentration part of the local control funding formula, or LCFF. And if we fall below the 55% mark, then we do not receive concentration funds. And I did share at the last meeting, we're hovering right at that 55%. And in talking to EDCO today, we're not the only ones, because we have universal meals. That funding is based on families qualifying for universal meals, or free meals. We don't require that paperwork. So we think we're missing some, because we actually believe we're significantly higher than 55%. There it goes. The assumptions for expenditures are even more complicated. The district has to take into account the additional costs of teachers moving step and column with the salary schedule, salary increases, increases in STRS and PERS rates, growth or decline of teaching and aid staff, increase in transportation costs, increase in utility costs, as well as maintaining the 3% for routine restricted maintenance and a 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. Please note that our utilities increased an average of 35% for this fiscal year, and we are projecting a continued increase in utility costs. At this point, it's almost a guess of 15%, because we aren't getting the information out of all of our utility companies in order to accurately project. I'm sure all of you noticed even your home electric bill went up more than probably 40% in this last year. So we're dealing with that at a much larger scale. Here we go. In the second interim report, staff included blanket reductions to meet the minimum reserve. We did a 5% reduction in services district-wide and a 5% reduction in supplies district-wide. This will be felt at the site level, as we've had 35% cuts over the last few years. But we can stick to this plan if that's what the board prefers. These reductions account for additional expenses due to increases in salaries, benefits, and operating expenses. Some examples of reducing services are eliminating our partnership that we have currently with EDCO and their SELPA helping support us while we're without a director, reducing or eliminating consultants, reducing or eliminating data systems that are non-essential or are redundant. The reductions in supply budgets will mean less of things like office supplies, books, and custodial supplies, which we're running on a very bare minimum right now. Oop, I went too far. There we go. This slide shows a few ways the district has, has reduced expenses and other ways to reduce expenses. For example, we've cut 2 director positions, a director of IT and a director of student services. This savings is only $105,000 for a couple of reasons. First, the director of student services was a shared position with Alpine County, so they were paying a portion of that salary. Next, to maintain a level of service, we are hiring an IT technician to ensure that we have a high standard of service and following all legal compliance for the IT department. The next option for reducing expenses is to cut non-core programs. These are simply examples and are not recommended at this time. For example, if you cut music as a program, you would save $425,000. We're able to keep our music operating at its current level because of Prop 98 or Prop 28 funding. Without Prop 28, we would not have been able to continue it. Next, you can see the examples of cutting both an intervention and performing arts program, as well as cutting staff childcare program. To reiterate, these aren't recommendations for cuts, simply examples of how you can reduce expenditures in a school district. These dollars are really salary and benefit costs. We chose these programs so you can see the dollar figure and compare the difference between a program like intervention, which has quite a bit more staff, than a program like music, which is a smaller group of staff members. Both music and performing arts address the board's priority to support the whole child, while intervention is part of the board's priority for literacy. Intervention is also outlined in the Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP, which would need to be modified if the board chose to cut a program like this. Another way to right-side a budget is to increase revenue. For example, if we increase the amount we charge for childcare to $65 and $55, so that's 65 infant, 55 preschool, which would be $5 less than the lowest private childcare in town, not an in-home childcare. We would reduce the district's contribution by $100,000. So meaning the district would go from losing $250,000 annually to only losing $150,000 annually. So this is a contribution we have to make to maintain the program. Another option is to reinstitute the fair share donation for athletics at the middle school and high school. This was instituted in 2005 to help cover the cost of transportation. This is a donation and does not prevent a student from participating. The rates shown are the last rates used in 2018-2019. If a student plays more than one sport or a family has, the family's maximum donation is $250 for this school year. So I've used Kevin Hennessy's 2 boys as an example, because they both play 3 sports each. So I have to pay the $155 every kid. He would max $250. Last, we could increase bus fees. We started charging bus fees again this year after a hiatus post-COVID. The last time we charged bus fees, as we discussed last year, was in the 2019-2020 school year. We used the fees from 2019-2020 to start. We could increase the fees to $175, which is a 17% increase from those from the 19-20 school year. So we just looked at kind of what that increase in revenue would be. You can see those comparisons. This is a discussion item only. Do you have any questions or suggestions on how you would like the staff to move forward?
I know that with not just LCAP and intervention, but our board priorities, we need to keep music, we need to keep performing arts, we need the intervention, and we need the staff childcare to retain our teachers. So we need to, we know it's going to be hard, but we got to look, we have to be creative and innovative, which is another board priority.
Any other questions or comments? Scott, do you have some input?
I would like to say thank you, Ms. Mansfield, and thank you for the board for recognizing the importance of the arts and performing arts in our community. From a student perspective, these are some things that really make South Tahoe part of what we are as a community. And more than just saying it, I do encourage us to keep working to find those innovative and creative solutions, because I know there's a lot of unrest in our communities, not simply within what's happening within our district, but within the state of our nation as well. So again, thank you for your support, and I do urge to keep a lot of these programs because looking at it, they really do matter to the student population more than people may express explicitly. So thank you.
Anyone else have a comment or a thought or idea, discussion? You have comments from the public. And then I just want to thank you, Ms. Buttery, for presenting that. And I have a couple things, but I heard last night at the LTCC LTUSD joint board meeting, somebody was congratulating us on a $750,000 grant, a workforce grant. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of money, $750,000 if we're looking for 2 million.
Specific to CTE.
That's okay. It's still
program.
Okay. I just thought, I mean, I was like, I know it's specific to a particular program, but I also know it's coming into our budget. So it's to grow the existing program.
Yeah, do you know more about it? He wrote it partially for Mount Talac to help with entrepreneurship, makerspace. So it's written for specific reasons. Unfortunately, I wish that we could just take the 750,000 and go, let's just cut down this. No, they would take it right back. And I might go to CEO jail.
Well, I mean, there may be a little savings if, we're using it to expand something at Talac that's maybe already began. You know what I'm saying? If there was like some percentage of somebody's time that might shave off, maybe not
so much of budgets in government and school districts is puzzles.
Sure.
How we can make this money work and how can we make it go the farthest. So that's what we're always kind of looking at. And even Marimar and I were in the car today down at EDCO, my director, and trying to come up with different solutions of how we can make some adjustments that will benefit everybody and try to keep it as far away from the classroom as possible and as far away from the student as possible. And I do want to reiterate, we have no plan to cut unless we're directed by the board. Music, performing arts. It's really to give you a dollar figure of what that looks like when we're looking at potentially $2.5 million of cuts.
And I just want to say that I appreciate that. And in looking at those other couple, I would say, okay, we're keeping arts and performing arts and music. I would say that I think the bus fee situation, we could charge a little more. I'm mostly just appalled that only 340 students of our 3,600 students use the bus. So
far more than use that, but it's just based on
they're the ones
average
who
of how many we've collected
are paying
for.
Right.
So it's just sort of
some people get the fee waived if they can afford it, that sort of thing.
And we don't deny a student a ride.
Yeah, right.
So if they're
That's
waiting
good.
for the bus drivers don't deny a student a ride.
So, I mean, I think then from that perspective, I wouldn't mind seeing an increase there, by that $25. Most folks could afford that are already paying it, and the ones that aren't paying it wouldn't be paying it anyway. And then as it relates to childcare, I think that we could raise the rates, I don't know how we go about deciding what amount, but to me, the child care, it's a huge investment by the district right now, the $250,000 for a very small number of people compared to what the district already pays for insurance for everybody. It's a very large number per person as compared to the cost of busing or something like that.
We're happy to take direction from you on how much you would want us to, if you direct us to raise rates then, or ask Dr. Cutler to put an analysis together, we're happy to do that to see where we would fall out in the end if we raised them X number of dollars. We're happy to do that. We've kind of already started.
You kind of did. I mean, you kind of presented that, but I don't know how the rest of the board members, feel about that. But I just, in looking at comparing there's a lot more benefit from the other programs to a lot more individuals, staff and students. But that's just the observation from what you've shared with us. And then related to just I think what Dr. Cutler has explained is that in the past, these cuts, we managed to figure out a way to do it, like you said, through cutting services and supplies. And, that seems to be working. I hope we don't run out of toilet paper. But I mean, I know that you guys have been good at doing that and figuring out ways to come up with that dollar amount. And I think we've been fortunate with our community partners to have books donated and things like that and supplies. And often if we put that request out, we get more supplies too. So we may have to get creative about soliciting more donations for things like that. All right, I'm ready to take public comments.
Yes, we have one public comment from Jody representing the STEA.
Thank you for this time to speak. Kelly, thank you for your presentation. Just looking through some of the things and where we are with projected COLAs, enrollment declining or not, because right now what I'm looking at is we're making some assumptions that our enrollment's going to be staying flat for the next 2 years out. ADA with where it is, very little fluctuation is projected on this. But we do have the uncertainties of what's going on at the federal level with title monies for sure, which they do end up paying for quite a few of our classified peoples and positions. So we are definitely keenly aware of that. And I appreciate Kelly's saying, the district desires to keep the cuts away from kids. I have a couple of things that I think we need to do a better job exploring, suggestions if you'll have it. One is that family income survey. While people do not have to fill it out to qualify for the breakfast and lunch program, I think we can do a far better job. Far better. And it's going to take boots on the ground. Boots from the school sites, district office. I mean, we need to do a better job. The fact that we are falling so close to that 55% is somewhat absurd. And I personally have watched students come in and enroll, and that's not like there's a certain point where we say, doesn't really matter if they're filling them out or not. That's not the message we want to put out there. It can be electronic. It can also be paper. And we need to do a better job. There must be a way to track as those things come in and target families that haven't turned them in. And if we did a better job promoting why it is so important, there's quite a bit of revenue. Secondly, transitional kindergarten. As you know, the state, we are now where it is a mandatory offering. And right now, we are not seeing a whole lot of enrollment. And there's been mixed messages, different information from different school sites that are going out. And we are a unified school district. And it's kind of confusing for me and other staff members. So if it's confusing for us right now, think of what some of our parents are that are going to have students starting in our district. So TK, there's a lot more funding for TK. It's not the same ADA funding as for our kindergartners. And now with that, we have to have a second person. The cap on it is 20 students and 2 staff. If you go over, then you have to have a third staff person in the classroom. But we can do a lot better job as a district promoting TK. It's a win for everybody, especially those people that are having trouble finding childcare.
Okay, every announcement that I get from every school, like from the Thunderbird paper, whatever, and the Sierra House and Myers and Soaring, I guess is the Thunderbird paper. They're all talking about it and they're all saying enrollment dates are open. So can you explain to me, what are the mixed messages?
Different school sites when families come to enroll, because right now we currently have 2 sites that offer TK. And then since notifications have gone out, and remember, if you're a brand new parent to the school district, why would you be checking the Myers newsletter or Tahoe Valley's, really?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you haven't had a student in school and you don't know about this, yeah. So it's a bigger community promotion, I believe, needs to happen.
Do you have suggestions on how to do that? Because I think that's important.
Yeah,
I do
dress
think.
up in like Thunderbird shirts and wave your fingers. It's free. You don't have to pay daycare. No, all kidding aside.
We want
Yeah.
4-year-olds.
Yeah, we want your kids, please. But yeah, I do think, and as you know, our kindergarten enrollment numbers were quite low this year. So that means going forward, unless we have kids coming in and this year was just a blip, we may be having less kids all around. The third thing, the increase to ADA through attendance. And I know how hard it is, especially coming out of COVID and parents just, well, my kids stayed home for all that time. What does it matter if they stay home now from school? Whether it's some type of incentive again, what we can do at the school sites with kids, but the kids can't really drive themselves to school or get themselves up and go to bus stops, at least the littles. But the effort there for attendance increase and looking at where we're seeing those drop-offs, I know we had a pretty big drop at, well, after the snow day, this last snow day, and every time we drop attendance, it's a cost. So I think those are things that we can do. As far as the childcare, that was something, and I don't think any of you were here on the board or any of you were actually in the districts, except for Kelly. But when we did create, I'm sorry, Val, you were. I apologize. Exception, Val. But when we did that, it really was to help attract and retain not just teachers. The employee daycare is for all employees. Our classified administration has had students that go to our employee daycare. And so it is one of the few things that we can offer. And it makes a difference for people. And I've had teachers tell me, this will make a difference whether I can keep working if the daycare goes away. And they need to move away. So those are just some things to consider. We look forward to always working with the district and through the LCAP processes and whatnot. Thank you for speaking to the programs, the music, the arts, all of those things, whatever gets a kid hooked, whatever it is, that is really what is most important. So when you do have to get to that, please keep that at the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other thoughts, direction? All right, well, thank you. That was a presentation information item, and now we're moving on to item 13, board governance. We have the resolution number 2024-2511 to adopt the updated board governance handbook. Dr. Reeder, do you have any information for us? I think this is pretty much our item, but you may have something.
I do not have anything prepared, but I just see this as an action item.
Yes, it
Thank you,
is.
President Kemper.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments? This is really our board's governance handbook that we went over during our retreat in January. And there's a resolution that updates with all of our signatures that we will implement our board protocols and principles and things of that nature.
I would like to make a motion to add the updated board governance handbook.
All right. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, I have a motion by trustee Mansfield and a second by trustee Heatherington. Do I have any other thoughts before we take a vote? Do I have any public comments? And trustee Mansfield's pointing out the typo. It says add pot instead of adopt, but or our executive assistant she spells things right, 99% of the time, 99.5, 95% of the time.
We have to have a little fun in here.
And my above satisfactory. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion was by trustee Mansfield, second by trustee Heatherington to adopt the resolution. All right, and it passed unanimously. And the last item for action is our consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt a consent agenda.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion from trustee Camacho and a second by trustee Anderson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that carries. And item 15 is items for consideration at a future board meeting. Any suggestions?
I do. I was up at the high school today and we all know that little kids don't have a big attention span. It gets greater until about 5th grade and then it starts to go down again. And I'm just thinking that the 4x4 needs to be looked at just for the length of time that you're spending on this one subject. And also last night at the LTCC, LTUSD joint meeting, we need to have some more options of classes. And if we do go to, say, 5 periods plus a flex period or something like that, there would be so many more options and you could have 17 students in a class and it's not gonna, break the bank. So I just think we need to look at that at a future meeting.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right, then moving on to item 16, I adjourned the meeting at 7:41.